Good afternoon, I'm Emma Buckland, Research Director at STL Partners, and today at MWC Barcelona we are going to talk about Agentic AI in the telco networks. And I have pleasure to be in conversation with Sue White, AVP Strategy for Netcracker. Sue, I think it is fair to say that telco operators have been doing a number of proof of concept of Agentic AI in their networks and their business, but actually very few are going into full deployment, full commercial deployment. So in your experience at Netcracker, from what you're observing, what do you think are the main blockers for telcos to actually bring those POCs into production?
That's absolutely right, Emma, because a lot of service providers are doing the ideation, but moving from ideation to actually production is quite a different thing. And we've been working with a number of operators now in production, so we've got quite a bit of experience. And I think one of the major things is really understanding which agents can actually bring meaningful value to the business. Because I don't think it's difficult for any of us to think of different types of AI agents that can, help us do our job faster or, optimize the business or improve the business in different ways. We can come up with lots of examples. But when you look at those agents and then you think about the environment that you're in, do you have, for example, the data that's already cleaned up, ready for those agents to use? Do you understand what models you want to use? Is another area. Maybe there's some decisioning tools that the agents need that you haven't got already. So that's one area, but it's also the cost. When you actually start implementing these agents, you have to also understand, how many interactions are you going to have with a public model, for example, because these token exchanges are getting more expensive all the time. So the cost piece is very important as well, and that really agent design is a big part of that. And I'd say the third key thing is how you integrate into the overall telco environment. So how you access the data. I mean, we talk about MCPs, and we've certainly built MCPs in Netcracker, but they're not widespread yet. So, you have to do a lot of API integration, and some of these systems and some of these data, may be stuck in very disparate systems across the organization. But it's also how you represent that to the person using the agent, whether it's an internal employee or whether it's an external customer. You have to put a lot of effort into that external look and feel for the design. So these are all some things that we've come across.
So Agentic AI introduces agents into mission-critical telecoms network. So how do you think, or how have you found telco operators balances introducing those agents with their need for control and their need for explainability? How do they manage actually that risk?
Absolutely. This is one of the most critical areas, I would say, about AI in general, and introducing and scaling AI in any organization. Because no matter what level of autonomy you want these agents to have, we've always got to have control. We've always got to have explainability. We've always got to basically have human oversight. That's absolutely critical. And that has to be designed from the beginning. So I'd say, first of all, what we do is make sure that these agents are not taking on too many tasks. You want them to start small. You want them to have a number of things that they can do, and you want to give them very defined data sets that they can access. So a front-end agent is only allowed to access some sub-agents to do its job, and it can only access certain data points to do its job. So you have to start this way, and then you gain the trust, you understand how the security works, you understand then how you can do the full traceability for what that agent did. Did that agent do its job correctly? And what kind of logic did it use to actually, come up with its answer? So all these things are really important. But I think there's another even bigger aspect to that, because that's just when we're getting started. If we think about how this is going to evolve, we're going to have agents that are embedded all across the telco organization in every aspect. And the more agents you introduce, the harder it is to govern. So you have to think about it from the beginning, not just for the few agents you might be deploying in the first stage, But how do you evolve beyond that? And that's a really important thing that Netcracker is working on right now is how do you look at the entire end-to-end governance and make sure that human oversight is in place so that agents that have competing objectives, you understand how to solve that. But also you've always got that human oversight to, roll back autonomous agents if you want to. You may want to, decrease the amount of autonomy they have. So at every stage we have to, stay in control and building the solutions for that is going to be very important.
So I would be really interested in hearing what is Netcracker doing to help telco bridge this gap between proof of concept and deploying agentic AI at scale in their networks.
In Netcracker, we're doing a number of things really to help, sort of get to deployment and to help scale. And going back to one of the things I first said earlier, I think one thing we help our customers with is understanding the return on investments for these initial agents. What's going to really make a difference to your business? So we start out with that, we define what the potential benefits are, but we understand, is it feasible to deploy those? Is it going to actually bring you some value, and can you measure it? Have you got the capabilities to do that today? And we usually end up with a smaller set of agents then that we can, correct for the test environment, put it through its test cycles. And that's a very important aspect. The second piece is we've already pre-built, over 100 agents. And this is very important to get started because, many agents are doing processes that we in Netcracker know already. We've been involved in this business for 30 years. And these processes need to be changed for AI because, they're not built for humans anymore. We want, AI systems to access things so they can do things in different ways. So we understand what those processes are, and we've built these agents to accommodate that. That can be like plug and play into many different higher level use cases that the business needs. So we can create new agents. We can create new agents with our operators. Our operators can create agents, or we can use the pre-built ones. So that's a key part. And then it's the platform that's needed to actually run these agents and bring all the security that's needed, the governance that we talked earlier. So that's very, very critical too. We've worked with a number of different operators now, so we're taking all those learnings in and taking that to other customers who are, just starting this journey to help them get going a little bit faster.
Excellent. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing the next step for the agentic AI in the telcos and how Netcracker is supporting the industry. Thank you very much, Sue.